Welcome to another episode of Throwing It Back with Sean Farrell. I am Sean Farrell. God is great all the time. God is great. Let's not waste no more time. Let's get right to it. So, the two people who changed power dunking, okay? Daryl Dawkins and Shaquille O'Neal, okay? But I want to take it back to Wilt Chamberlain first, okay? Wilt Chamberlain was the first real power dunker, okay? Just ask Red Auerbach, former coach of the Boston Celtics. Auerbach said Chamberlain would really slam it down with tremendous force, okay? But while Chamberlain was slamming down with tremendous force, it wasn't enough to, break the backboards, okay? But there was another guy by the name of Gus Johnson. No, not the commentator, Gus Johnson. The basketball player, Gus Johnson. He shattered a few backboards, okay? There is no footage for that, but history says that Gus Johnson shattered a few backboards, okay? And so they got me to thinking. Daryl Dawkins was drafted by the Philadelphia 76ers in 1975, okay? So back in 1975, the NBA did not have breakaway rims, okay? The NBA did not have breakaway rims. They did have the metal rims, okay? They had the metal rims, but the rims were breakaway. They were just simply attached to the backboard, okay? They weren't breakaway, so when power dunkers like Daryl Dawkins would dunk, okay, or other power dunkers around the league would dunk, they would bend the rims. The rims would bend, but they wouldn't break, okay? So, but Daryl Dawkins changed all of that. In a game they were playing in Kansas City in 1979, okay? They were playing the Kansas City Kings in 1979, okay? And they threw the ball in Daryl Dawkins, and he dunked it. Unfortunately, the glass shattered too. Okay? And so Daryl Dawkins' reaction was like, damn, I did that. I broke a backboard. And then Billy Cunningham recalls it. He's like, he looked around and was like, can you believe what he just did? And it was like, oh, the glass is just everywhere. And so Kenny Smith, one of the great leapers of all time, Kenny the Jet Smith, recalls looking at that video when Dawkins broke the backboard. There was one player on the Kansas City Kings who was on the bench. When Dawkins broke the backboard, he actually stepped behind the bench because he thought Dawkins was a monster of some sorts. He thought a monster had just broken the backboard. So a player on the Kansas City Kings went behind the bench to protect himself, to get away from Dawkins, because he thought Dawkins was a monster, okay? And so Daryl Dawkins said, now I got to see if I can do this again. So they're playing the San Antonio Spurs at the Spectrum, okay, at home. So Doug Collins comes down with the ball. Yes, that Doug Collins, Chicago Bulls coach Doug Collins. So Doug Collins comes down with the ball. Bobby Jones cut through. And they gave the ball to Daryl Dawkins. He dunked it. And the glass shattered. Okay. The glass shattered. But it didn't break. Well, shattered. Yeah, I guess shattered is the same thing as broken. Yeah. The glass shattered, but the rim came off. Okay. The rim came off. Okay. And of course, Dawkins had funny names for his dunks. Okay. The in your face disgrace. Your mama. He had a turbo saxophonic delight dunk. The thank you wham man I am jam. Wasn't know were some of his names. So it was around 1981. So it was around the 1981-82 season where the NBA put in breakaway rims. Okay, so the breakaway rims were a result of Daryl Dawkins. Okay, so again, it was around 1981-82 season where the NBA put in breakaway rims to prevent players from Daryl Dawkins, like Daryl Dawkins from pulling down the rim off the backboard. Okay, but Daryl Dawkins later said they could still be broken. Okay, he said the rim only gives from the front. If you hit it from the side, it's going to break. I know. I've tried these things. Well, along comes Shaquille O'Neal, okay? So they're playing the Phoenix Suns in Shaq's rookie season. They're playing the Phoenix Suns. Anthony Bowie takes the shot. He misses. O'Neal follows up. And just like Daryl Dawkins said, the rim only gives from the front, okay? Well, yes, the rim gave from the front. The thing about it is, Shaq was so big and strong that the rim gave, but the basket support also gave way too. So when Shaq dunked it, the backboard went like, okay. So, which brings me to the time they were playing the New Jersey Nets. Okay. And Shaq tells a story where Derek Coleman dunked in his face. And Derek Coleman dunked in his face, and Derek Coleman went like this to Shaq. And so Shaq had the ball. And he was being guarded by the late Dwayne Schnitzis. Rest in peace. He was being guarded by Dwayne Schnitzis. Okay. He drove on Schnitzis. And just like Daryl Dawkins said, the rim only gives from the front. If you hit it from the side, it's going to break. Well, Shaq drove baseline, dunked it. The whole rim broke. Okay. The whole goalpost broke. And yeah. And see, the interesting thing about that game was Nick Anderson scored 50 points that game. Okay. Nick Anderson had 50 points that game. And it didn't even matter. It did not even matter that Nick Anderson scored 50 points that game because of what Shaq did, okay? So the basketball goals that we see now in pro ball, you have mainly Daryl Dawkins and Shaquille O'Neal to thank for that. And in some ways, Wilt Chamberlain. And and Gus Johnson too. Okay. So, yeah. All right. That's it, and that's all for Throwing It Back with Sean Farrell. I am Sean Farrell. God is great. Jesus Christ is Lord. I'm out of here. See y'all on the next one. Peace out.